me and you bet I felt it. I tried to be chill, but you're so hot that I melted. I fell right through the cracks. Now I'm trying to get back. Before the cool done run out, I'll be giving it my best.
In the book Seeing Like a State, How Certain Schemes to Improve the Human Condition Have Failed, James C. Scott explores this idea. He argues that Mētis, a term that refers to the practical skills and acquired intelligence that are typically generated through practice and local experience, has proven to be more effective and successful when applied in the real world than techne, which refers to universal knowledge that is acquired through written text. In order to prove this point, Scott points to examples of authoritative, high modernist schemes that inflicted an inadequate set of instructions with the aim of creating a successful social order in struggling communities. He claims that by themselves, the simplified and impersonal rules could never generate a functioning community, city, or economy, since the knowledge of how to apply and pursue these activities and skills is not given in a knowledge of them. Scott also argues that generic, simplified rules often ignore and suppress the practical skills and experiences that underwrite any complex activity. Expanding on this point, he claims that acquiring and mastering practical skills depend more heavily on informal local understandings and improvisations rather than upon formal and generic work rules, since applications of them require specific adjustments for varying local conditions that tend to be mutable, indeterminate, and particular. With that said, Scott emphasizes that locality, observation, and practice are key aspects in successfully learning the skills of Mētis. Leadership Initiatives is a nonprofit organization that embodies this concept. Created in 2003, Leadership Initiatives works to create economic freedom and self-independence for millions through local business creation. Rather than just providing funds or generic instruction, Leadership Initiatives works closely with communities to provide personalized entrepreneurial, leadership, and management training that is tailored to teach business owners how to tackle specific obstacles that exist in their respective communities. Through 9 weeks of intensive hands-on practical training, experienced mentors build upon the business owner's prior skills and knowledge so that these emerging leaders can learn how to run their own businesses in their specific fields. For the purposes of this project, I had the opportunity to read examples of Leadership Initiatives lesson plans to see how the organization incorporates Mētis into their curriculum. You may have noticed that many of these points contain the word community. This ultimately reiterates the point that Leadership Initiatives is focused on tailoring and customizing the curriculum so that it incorporates local knowledge and specifically addresses the needs of the rising business owners' communities. To further prove this point, I'm going to analyze a business that has emerged in the fish farming industry. Located in Bauchi State, Nigeria, this particular fish farming business is owned by Shehu Gagare. Prior to opening his business, Shehu relied on subsistence farming to make a living. He originally learned the fish farming trade through practical methods that were demonstrated by 2 local men who worked for the Ministry of Agriculture. Despite his experience and knowledge in the fish farming field, Shehu lacked the qualifications to earn a large salary, which made providing for his family a struggle. With that said, Shehu decided to apply to Leadership Initiatives so he could learn how to start his own fish farming business. Not only would this business assist him in attaining a more substantial salary, but it would ultimately address the needs of his community, such as malnutrition and underemployment. I had the chance to interview Shehu over Skype to learn more about his experience with Leadership Initiatives. Unfortunately, due to technical difficulties, our conversation didn't properly record. However, I will summarize the main points that were discussed in our interview. One of my first questions for Shehu was, what were the primary concerns and needs of your community and how did your business address them? He said that he recognized that his community was suffering from a vitamin B deficiency and underemployment, especially amongst the younger generation. He wanted to start a business that would provide an adequate and affordable food supply for his community in addition to offering employment opportunities to young community members. Their jobs at the fish farming business would not only provide them with a salary, but would ultimately teach them manpower. When I asked Shehu to clarify this term, he said that it embodies the importance of hard work and responsibility, which helps prevent the community's youth from getting into trouble. My second question for Shehu was how he learned how to catch a fish and how he passes along this knowledge to his employees. In response to this question, Shehu said that he learned the trade through two local men who worked for the Ministry of Agriculture. While he didn't go into detail on what he specifically learned, he recalls that he was taught to use hooks and dry net through hands-on practical training rather than given a written guide or manual. When I asked Shehu how he mastered the skill, he said that he became better through practice. Shehu mentally stores the knowledge that he attained through his experience practicing the trade and passes it along to his employees through hands-on training. This ultimately connects to Scott's point that the Mētis necessary to the successful practice of farming is best learned by daily practice and experience and a developed feel or knack for strategy. My third question for Shehu was how leadership initiatives has helped him develop his business. He says that leadership initiatives was able to implement his prior knowledge and apply it to the curriculum so that he was able to specifically address the problems of his community. For example, leadership initiatives advanced Shehu's prior knowledge of fish feed and taught him how to create his own, which led Shehu to produce a feed that was more nutritious for the fish and less expensive. Leadership initiatives also taught Shehu the importance of incorporating the community into his business. Through thoroughly understanding the community's concerns and needs, Shehu was able to adapt his business to address the problems of malnutrition and underemployment, which in the end gained local support for his business. Shehu's experience with leadership initiatives ultimately exemplifies how the organization draws upon general knowledge and principles of business management and tailors it to the circumstances of local communities and the prior knowledge of rising business owners. If Shehu picked up a general guide that provided instructions on how to run a fish farming business, he most likely wouldn't have learned how to create his own fish feed through personalized instruction or how to incorporate local problems into his business plans, both of which have been key to his business's success. While I unfortunately wasn't able to include a video of the interview that I had with Shehu, I was able to call back the Business Creation and Program Director, Umar Mohammed, and ask how leadership initiatives benefited the fish farming business. Do you mind repeating how has leadership initiatives helped the business owner?
Okay. The leadership initiative is building, let me put it this way, give him all the necessary resources to start up the business. So that can actually help him to put his knowledge into use and to actually generate more income so that he can be able to take good care of his family.